creating beyond calculation, beyond politics, beyond the big two even. Welcome, Silverliners, to Silverline's Wednesday Wham in the wonderful world of wisdom with our skeleton crew tonight, guys. What's up? It's just the three of us tonight. We're missing Barb, the Empress of the Inks. We wish her the best and a swift recovery. I'll briefly introduce everybody. I'm Dean Zachary, the artist and writer of Silverblade, and cover artist and artist of issue 1 for Cat and Mouse. We also have with us the superior skeptic, Aaron Humphreys. Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Of who you just finished something I saw earlier today.
Yeah, I finished my my Goblins book. It's
Yes,
all
you
done.
did. Yes,
Yes.
you did. Congratulations on that.
Oh,
we
thank you.
have the legendary Paragon of Pencils, Rob Davis, with us tonight. Hi, Rob.
He holds up a pen. Paragon of Pencils, he holds up a pen.
He holds up a pen. Still, you know,
Right.
he's good at
There
everything.
you go.
He's good at everything. And then we have one of the wizards of wordplay tonight, Mr. Rory Boyle, with us tonight.
Ahoy.
Welcome, Rory. Glad you're here. I hear your partner in crime may show up in a little bit, Mr. Scott Wakefield.
May show up.
Good. Looking for that. So tonight, without further ado, we will move right on into the title of the show, The Power of Page 1. And what I wanted to explore tonight a little bit with the inevitable insight that all of you bring to the show is, what does it take to grab a reader's attention on page 1 of a comic book? How do you do it? How do you just right out of the gate compel someone to continue reading it? Because we've all been there. We've all stood there ourselves in the comic book store, picked up a comic, opened it up, looked at page 1 and went meh and put it back, or opened up page 1 and stood there and began reading, and then, got the mean looks from the clerk. Are you going to buy that, or are you going to just stand in here and read it in the store? So, yeah, it's happening. So basically, I'm going to start with Aaron. I know, as prolific as you are in the fast and efficient way that you can produce the artwork you do, you've had to face probably more page 1s in recent memory than many of us have, with the possible exception of Rob. Talk to us about, when you're looking at your story of Godlings, you're like, man, I got to do this page 1 thing. I got to get this thing rocking and going from page 1. What went through your mind? I mean, how did you solve that particular
Let me see here. Well, I
puzzle?
could do, each issue has kind of, I guess, a page 1. Some have better ones than others. Others have multiple panels that start in page 1. Issue 4 has a panel page. Most have... it's funny. So if you look at the whole book as a whole thing, so it's a graphic novel. The page 1 is like a mosaic, kind of like of these gods creating. It's kind of abstract, and then the second page shows them. But the first page, that's what I would like. I mean, I have different tastes than other people, but if I opened up a page and it was looked like some sort of ancient mosaic or something, that would get my attention.
Okay.
Different things for different people, I guess.
Of course.
Yeah.
We got to welcome very quickly here our other wizard of wordplay, Scott Wakefield. Welcome, Scott. Glad you can make it, my friend.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
We have set the stage, and just as a quick review, just to set the table, we're talking about the power of page 1 and what we're faced with as creators, both writers and artists, to compel the reader to continue to page 2 and beyond with page 1, which is a challenge. And obviously, it's a different idea and calculus for each one of us. But we started with the superior skeptic, Aaron Humphreys, to enlighten us, since he's done a lot of work recently with page 1. We're talking about Godlings, so please continue. I want to wave hi to Phil, Leon. Hey, yo, Silverline peeps. Wow, there's just people rolling up in here.
Yeah.
Look at this. We got the word bomber himself, John Medic III. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Congratulations, my friends. How y'all doing tonight?
Doing good. Amy says, hello, fellas. Happy Wednesday.
Amy.
Everybody says hi to Amy. Hi, Amy. Thank you. Ryan says, cover of a comic can be awesome, but first page can set the tone and give a bit of exposition. That's exactly right. We're about to get into that in some detail here. Paige says, howdy, y'all. Excited for this tonight, as we all are. So please continue. Aaron, enlighten us.
Yeah, let me see. I don't know. I can hold this up. This is what the beginning first page of the book looks like.
Whoa, good old splash, man. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, and then as you turn the page, then it goes into showing my characters and then like this tornado. So that would be it picks up, and the big reveal for them would be them looking out over this. So yeah, I guess. Page one, usually when I flip through books in the story, I usually flip through to the middle.
Right.
Yeah.
I expect that from you, Aaron.
I'm trying to think of
I expect that. Do you hold it upside down as well, like a little bit, and kind of, I don't know, flip to the end and read the last page?
Usually to make the art look good.
That's what I
do. Especially with Dean Zachary's book. Yeah, I turn it upside down, so I'm like, what is this?
It sort of look better, right? Yeah.
Yeah. When you're trying to figure out what you're looking at, you want to rotate.
What you're looking at, what is this? No, but seriously, like when you do you even turn to the first page? So some people wouldn't. They just look at the cover, the back cover,
I usually just flip through it and see if I like the art. And then if it's funny, I don't know if I really do turn to the first page. That's a good question. I usually flip through and just check and see if I like the art. So strangely enough, a lot of times I will turn to the last page of the comic. That is something I do a lot because I want to see kind of like where it ends or where it's going. I don't know. I'm a last pager.
You are a last pager. You're a spoiler by nature, my friend. That's okay. We need those. Yeah. We need those in society.
I think that's issue 10. So that was kind of interesting. Yeah. Yes, he's dying. So yeah, I don't know. I don't put. It's funny. This is my book's made to be one book. So sometimes I didn't worry too much about the first page of the issue because it's all supposed to go together. Yeah.
That makes sense.
So
that makes sense. That's good. Yeah. That's a good observation.
Well,
so for you, it's really the art. But it's also, like you mentioned on your Godlings, that first page, it is like the beginning of the universe. It's sort of the Big Bang almost.
Big Bang of that's kind of what I'm doing. And a lot of times I'll turn to the second page because the second page allows for a splash page, a double page spread. So a lot of times in comics, I think you skip the first page, you go to the second and third page because if you're going to get a double page spread, that's usually where they're going to throw it. Right.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll do that a lot too. But first pages, I don't know, not as much as I thought.
What's more important to you, the art or the written word on that first page? We're kind of stuck right now.
It would be the art. I'd just be an artist.
Same
I have to visually catch to make me want to read it. I don't know. A lot of times you read words, you don't know what's going on. And so many comics start out with flowery exposition that really don't mean much of anything.
Yeah, true. True. Yeah. Before we move on, any
I
don't know.
Can you hear that? Okay, I'll tell her to stop. I think my daughter's tuning her ukulele.
Oh yeah.
I do hear that. It's almost magical and ethereal. It's like elves in the distance in the Lord of the Rings or something. It's cool.
I thought it was somebody playing Pong.
I'm amazed you can hear that. She's upstairs.
I see. Okay, Scott, do you want to talk to us a little bit next about what compels you to go beyond page one?
Actually, being a writer, the art though, still, if the art is terrible, I know that's going to draw me away from the story the whole time. I know no matter. Okay, the story has to be really great, but if the art is awful, sometimes I can't get over it. Sometimes I'm just like I just can't. Especially
go there.
We've talked about this a lot, and how important that is, especially when if there are people and they are disproportionate or their faces are not right. I can't get past it, and so that's a big turnoff. But like Aaron said, that first page, I want to see if they're drawing in, if they're laying the foundation for the story, and then art wise, like if there's a spread or there's a splash page that's coming up, I want to see that, and then I will do. I like to flip through to see what's going on, what does it look like? But then from the writer's side, I think that if the writer has put a lot of thought into the story, the first page or two should be really good, and there shouldn't be lots of exposition unless it's necessary. But I really feel like the comic book, the visual media gives you so much room to tell so much without a lot of words and without overdoing it. And there's the trope of laying down the groundwork of the world on the first page is tedious. Sometimes if there's a big blocks of text having to say, when the universe collided with the imploding star of such and such, sometimes it's okay, but most of the time I feel like they can do that later. We can find that out, and the opening page should set the stage for the story with great visuals in a few words, and I'm big on character driven story. I want the characters to show up early, and if you can give as much about them with the image in a few words, it's necessary. I think it's necessary. I don't like having it all explained to you. So economy of words, and then get the most bang for your buck out of those first few images.
And is it fair to say you're employing also to use the original language, in medias res, in the middle of the action?
Not always. Again, that can be a trope too that confuses people sometimes. But jump in at the earliest. Jump in as early as you can, and jump out. That's a film. With film, get out of the scene as fast as you can as well. But if you can jump in and have your characters doing something, skip the. We talked about this 2 weeks ago, right? Skip the new guy showing up explaining the ropes, or
totally skip that.
telling them well, like I said yesterday, when you crashed the car last week. Why would you say
Nobody
that?
Cares. Nobody cares.
No one would say that. So use that first few pages to really, really, really introduce the world and the characters. And so from there, and actually, if you want it to be confusing, great, but don't have it be so obscure that that the reader doesn't want to pursue more. Have it be not confusing, but like a mystery, and have the mystery draw them in. I was reading something, and it felt like information was missing. I felt like as the reader, I missed an issue, and it couldn't have been. It was the first issue, so it was not mysterious. It was like, should I know something I don't hear? Like the story world, like everybody in the story knew something that I didn't, and I couldn't. It was too confusing, and I didn't like it. It needed to be there needed to be another kernel of information. Exactly.
Yes.
And how many pages am I going to go in a novel? A lot of times, I don't know. One of my friends has his age. He goes to the number of pages he is old, and he said it should be the other way around. As you get older, you should have less patience to work through a novel. But same thing with a comic book. How many pages are you going to commit, and to understand the mystery of the story? So there should be something established at the outset, at
the beginning. And if you're going to use creating a mystery by making it too confusing, make certain that you know how to break those rules, because otherwise it can become a jumbled mess.
And make certain. Well, yeah, like Lost. Yeah, that's
Lost. You can. Yeah, what an apropos name, right?
Your story you need to have a hint. You need to have some indication that we're going to figure this out. That we're going to be drawn along. You can't just be confused the whole time. Yeah, and Lost. I loved Lost until I think season 4. I gave up. I couldn't do it anymore.
It's like I'm done. I'm done.
I gave up on page 1. I went.
What?
No way.
What is this?
Yeah, what's going?
Where is it going?
Well,
I had
I'm
no
going to
idea,
ask,
and I went.
Yeah, I'm going to ask this, Scott. When you faced your own book, like, and you were sitting there and you're like, okay, how do we get people into Steam Patriots from that first page? What did you employ to get people in?
Well, Rory and I we picked a world that's familiar already. We don't have to say where America is, and we don't have to tell many of our readers what's happening in 1776. So that was nice. That's all right. We got that. And then we put the word steam in our title, and so that solved that problem. But we wanted to introduce an urgency. And then, Roy, convenient you have a copy of it. Good job, because I'm looking around and I don't have,
check that page one, guys.
With an arm's reach. Yep, So we got a boiler, we got smoke, we got urgency, we have action, we have something, and that we wanted it to be like where are we going? Something's happening. We're going there, and then with it, then in the next
Chunk
pages,
really sells it though.
Yeah,
Yep. Sound effects, man. I love sound effects. I know some people don't, but I love them. They're fun.
We wanted there to be a sense of urgency. The world, we didn't have to establish our world, which is nice. Yeah. But we wanted to establish the elements. So we threw the boiler in there first thing. And then we thought, we'll come back a little, get our protagonist, our hero, Felix, to say some things. And so we understand, okay, he's a smarty pants. And set the stage and then go from there. And that's what we tried to do, that first page. I love it. I love the first page.
I do too. I think it's a success. It's fair to say that you accomplished time, place, and character right off the bat. So immediately everyone knows what they're in for. You don't really feel the need, at least I didn't, to skip forward. To say, does this get any better? Does this, there wasn't that. You immediately, I know I'm going to like this.
We thought we could have had a timeline, the Intolerables Act, the TE
Act, the Navigation Acts.
A lot. We could have had the Continental Congress and a lot of discussion, have them talking. We thought about that. A lot of dialogue.
A lot of camera one, camera two,
camera one, camera two,
and the delegate from New York and the delegate from Virginia
with a vote of no confidence. Right. You want to do that. Not off the bat. No. Good call. Rob, we're going to move down to you, my friend, as an artist.
All right,
you're called upon to go to page one, and you've got to really grab people's attention. Now, I don't have to tell you, there's a lot of pressure there. I feel that when I do my page one. How do you approach it? Like, what's the first thing you do? Do you get reference together? Do you read the script 3 or 4 times to try to get something in your head? What do you do?
Well, all those things. I definitely read the script through all the way in case, like from page one, there may be something you want to foreshadow visually somehow. So read the whole thing, understand what the themes are, understand where the story's going. So that if you need to do some foreshadowing or you want some detail, you want a MacGuffin or who's it, Chekhov's gun, if you want one of those early on, you want to throw those in. But you want something that grabs the eye of the reader in some fashion or another. And I've got a couple of examples right here. I've got it's over here. The first page of issue 4 of Twilight Grim is right here, and it is a full page splash, and there's definitely action going on. So,
cool.
You got a guy on a motorcycle,
awesome,
and he's at an angle, so he's making a corner.
Oh yeah,
and he's got stuff flying off the back there. So, you could start off, and he's coming right at you.
Yeah.
So, there's all that. There's that punch. Punch. So you go, okay. You question, why is he on a motorcycle? Where's he going? And why is he going so fast? So you got some questions going on. So, but then there's another way to go about it. And this is the one where I had to do a lot of reference work. And that's the first page of Boston Bombers. And what this
I
is,
see.
I don't know if you can see it, and I'll get it real close so you can see the first panel, then the second panel.
Looks like Boston.
Yes.
Then the third. Boston Bombers is what it's called. It's a
Right.
pulpish book. I've talked about it here before. But
Yeah,
that's
I
page
like the
one.
fact that you went widescreen with those panels. That's nice. I like that.
Because that's essentially, we're just kind of, and then it jumps to page 2, which I'm still working on. And I showed you the layouts for this a while back, and I read the description to you of what's going on. But there's panel 1 and 2. So we've got Roman guys marching towards the camera, more or less, and a lion running off, the lion we saw in the previous panel. And then we pull back
Boom.
to the large panel.
Oh, cool.
And there's a huge army of Roman soldiers. So, yeah, that was, how do you handle that? You've got all those Romans you got to draw.
Copy paste.
So I did a lot of research. Yeah. Well, I found I got lucky. I found a photograph that was from a movie of some sort. I don't know which one it was, but I found a movie shot that was perfect. So I blew it up on a sheet this big, threw it on my light box, and just started, laying all these guys in. Now, of course, I got to come back. That sets them in the right place, and the perspective and everything's perfect. So all I've got to do is go in and do the little details. But I'll also do the research and print it out, so I've got it right next to me of what each of the Roman guys are supposed to look like.
So nice reference.
So I've got it right here to the left of me. I'm going, okay, what's this detail? So I can, because I want to get this right, because these are supposed to be Romans, and it should feel right. And the only way it's going to feel right is if you do the research and figure it out.
Of course.
So, that's how the two types of first pages that I normally end up with are done. There is a third type that you don't see much of anymore, and that's essentially, I know Kirby did this a lot early in the Marvel era, is that the splash page, the first page, was essentially just another cover. But that was also the age when in most books you had maybe 2 or 3 stories of 8 pages each. So you essentially had something opening for each one of those, in addition to the main cover that was to get the kids to get it off the stand and look at it, and then page through and see what was going on. But so there was essentially another cover inside, but you don't see that much anymore. But that's another way to do it.
Yeah, that's good. Excellent information. Let me pick your brain one last time here. Favorite first page. We're gonna give everybody a chance to weigh in, so be thinking. But does anything come to mind from like one of your favorite first pages, either that you've created or that another artist you admire created that really just inspired you, that grabbed you?
Wow. Trying to think of one right off the top. There were so many, and so none of them bubbles to the top.
Okay.
I can think of a couple of Thors where I can think of one that was essentially a cover where Thor is battling 2 of his arch enemies. It's Dr. Jekyll, or not Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, and the Cobra. And Thor is kind of standing back like this with his hammer, and these 2 guys are coming at him, and he's why he would be threatened since he's got this big hammer and these 2 mortals coming at him. But anyway, you got that feeling. It was just another cover, but that's the one that comes immediately to mind. I don't know why, but that sort of thing, and that's why I thought of the whole second cover thing as one of those came to my mind.
I think that works well. I think that's one reason you may have remembered it, because that is a great idea, that second cover idea as the first page. And I hope people listening and watching who are aspiring creators themselves, most of them are, take that to heart and say, don't be afraid to make that splash on your first page and make it a second
very
cover.
often. Yeah, since it's not used very often anymore, it could be a real a change of pace for today's comics. So something to think about. But I'm trying to think another one. Yeah, there's another one comes up from the Avengers. That's the beginning of the story. It's not another splash page, but it's essentially setting the stage for what's going to happen further into the issue. I think Iron Man is being he's done something to dishonor the Avengers, and they're about to slap him down. If I don't remember which issue this is, but it's another Kirby, and it kind of just sets the whole scene. Everyone's kind of Iron Man's in the foreground, kind of slumped, and the rest of them are coming at him in the background. So it sets the scene. Everyone's seen in that scene, and you kind of go, okay, what's going on here? Why are they down on him? And then you turn the page and you see what's going on. So that's another one, a grabber of some sort, a visual image of some sort. But if you go for a full page splash like that, it has to tell a story. It has to, or
storytelling
at least raise
splash.
a question. Yeah,
absolutely.
It has to either tell a story or raise a question in how it looks. So, my 2 cents.
I agree.
I think I spent 45 cents, but yeah, I probably talked more now than I have in months. Those are where I come from.
We older fellas tend to ramble, so that's what I do too. So that's fine.
Well,
we're going to move on now to.
You got to let them out.
That's right. We'll move on to another wizard of wordplay here, Rory. You're fairly new to the industry, but that gives us a fresh approach. Like when you sit down to write that first page, what goes through your mind to solve the puzzle of how to make it compelling to a new reader?
Well, equal parts artist and author, establishing what's going on in as few words as possible. I think Scott and I must be bored because we're of one mind. And that if you can
one brilliant mind.
Indeed.
Yeah. Well, it takes both of you to make one.
Huh? Share between.
Yes.
But if as a writer, if you can, that was good. You can write it so well that the artist can draw what you're thinking, just like, come on, read my mind. That you can display it. What's the word? We've talked about it before. Like, can you tell a story without words? Blocking and bracing, like how actors like you have to position them properly, or facial expressions. What's in their hands, what do they carry, what are they looking at? I think that carries more weight than here. Let me explain what's going on.
Right, right. Don't rely on the exposition, but rely on blocking, character, posing.
Not blocking and bracing, Rory.
Not blocking.
Blocking and bracing is what you do to
that's containers.
That's
right.
When your ship is sinking.
Right? Just blocking. Wow. I'm institutionalized. I'm sorry.
So, are there any, like, in your mind, anything that springs to mind that where you opened a comic book, let's say, and you saw that first page and you went, wow, someday I want to write a page like that? Anything pops in your head from the past?
The very first comic that I had, my sister was over in Germany. She bought a Spider-Man comic and brought it back. And it was like, theirs were like larger than ours were. And I just remember the wow factor of it. I forget who the villain was on it, but it was like a purple and green colored villain. It wasn't the Goblin, unless it was some German version of the Goblin.
Version of the Goblin.
Der Goblin.
Could have been the Goblin.
Right. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. So you're also of the mind that a grabbing splash, so to speak, would be preferable to the slow build up. Some people go that cinematic route where they'll literally use page 1 and 2 to do what I call a slow build, and where you're going, what's this? And then you get to the page 3, and page 1, page 2, and then you get page 3, and you get your big grabbing splash.
Right. With ours, we did that as well. let's see, 1, 2, 3, fourth page in with that first splash. When you're looking at the harbor, which this could be page 1 as well.
Yes, very much so. Yeah.
See that something is happening. There's forward motion. There's a destination. You know something is happening. Right. I also like how Brent opened Kalis, with Kalis falling from the atmosphere.
Yeah, I like.
But that. Actually, he employed the 1, 2, 3 punch approach. If you go back,
yep. So
he did. Yep. And then boom. Right. So it's fair to say, as long as it's done well, either approach works. Either, set the scene with something relatively unrelated and then lead them to the punchline, or an opening splash. I tend to be an opening splash guy, but I'm not opposed to the second punch, as we go into page 3, which, speaking of second punches, it leads me to the word bomber here. John, talk to us, man. How do you approach page 1?
I'm going, okay, I could go 2 routes with this. It's like, okay, so you left me for last. So like pretty much everything I had prepared to talk about, you all talked about already. But that also means that I've employed all of these great things that y'all have talked about, which makes me the word bomber. Bam!
Right.
All right.
Boom.
So since I'm a writer and I've written multiple books and multiple issues, and the way I work with my artists is I don't necessarily do Marvel style, where, you give them a plot and say, go draw 24 pages of this. Oh, 22, Roland, sorry. He hates when I do 24 or 36 or 39 because that's an odd number. 22 pages. I don't just give like a plot and say, go to it. I actually give page by page, panel by panel descriptions of what I want. So if it's a full page splash page, it's because it's what I want. If it's a multi-panel page, it's because it's what I want. If it's a partial splash, and I have all these things visually, and Dean just left us because that's what I want. No, wait, where'd you go? Back.
He's had enough of you, John.
Scott's please come back.
Well,
we're gonna wait for Dean because I need Dean's permission. I'll
there he is.
Finger.
Dean, you blacked out there for a little while. You okay?
You all right? Nice fan.
We're getting insight into Dean's world.
We're going to hear a slide rack
give us
and
a sign.
gunshots and then Russians yelling.
If you're not okay, Dean. This is good.
This is
good,
intense.
Good show. Good show.
Plot twist.
Dean, are you still there?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you now, sir.
Yeah, we can hear you now. Try again.
We can hear you. All right.
Bye-bye.
John, I would say continue talking so we don't have this awkward.
Yeah.
We're all looking at each other.
I kind of like it.
But I got cool stuff about Dean to hear. He'll be right back. Welcome back.
Hey, here we go.
All right. So we were waiting for you. So
Thank you.
Not a problem. So, I've employed a bunch of these different techniques that you've talked about along the way. Though, when we were talking in our Wham chat over the week and said this is the topic, I'm like, I've got 2 things in mind. One of mine and one of those that were out there that grabbed me. And that's the one that came to mind first. I was like, oh, Dean better let me go first so nobody steals it. Made me go last, nobody stole it. So that's awesome. But then as I was thinking about the one that I had of mine that I think is just like probably my favorite splash page, I'm like, I wonder if subconsciously that one that I love from way back in the day influenced me. And because it definitely was not an homage. It was not intentional. But it's similar. So and then going through, I have a couple other techniques I've used on a couple other issues, including to flip. They always say that you should leave your issue on a cliffhanger to make people want to come back.
Okay.
They also say every odd number page, bottom panel, should end on a cliffhanger of some sort to make people want to flip the page. All right. And surprises will be on the even side, the even number page, and then cliffhanger on The odd number page, right? So can
Recto
I don't want to
verso.
just talk. I want to show. Do you guys mind if I share my screen?
Share away, my friend.
All right. So I am going to try this, and let's see how it goes. And I think I got rid of anything bad. All right. So I'm just going to jump first to. Can you see this one?
No.
Nothing yet.
Nothing yet. It says it's sharing a window. No?
Yeah. There we go.
Okay.
There we go.
Oh.
Splash page. First page of an X-Men book. You get Kitty Pryde in a winter jacket saying Professor Xavier is a jerk.
Agreed.
Right? That's not usually what you'd expect. You'd expect Sentinels and, Wolverine and maybe a fight scene. But Professor Xavier is a jerk. That sounds like a teenage girl to me.
Yes.
It made me want to turn the page and go, why is he a jerk? What did he do?
Why does she think he's a jerk? Yeah.
So
why does she think he's a jerk? Yeah.
Exactly. So to me, that was really something that made me go, I want to know more. I want to turn that page. So when what made me think of that, issue 9 of Sniper and Rook, and I'm going to just be pulling from personal examples here.
Okay.
Tell me if you guys can see this, and it's a full page splash page. Let me know when it comes up.
Yep. See it now.
So, we got Sniper. And of course, he's just, standard guy. So it's kind of hard to get the establishing shot without a mask, like Spider-Man, Batman, very identifiable. Hopefully, if you're reading Sniper and Rook, it's going to be Sniper or Rook, right? It's going to be Sniper and Rook. Who else could it be?
Who else could it be, right?
But, when we get this color, this will be the orange and the yellow. Wait, you're sending me where?
Yeah.
Guess what? I want to turn that page. I want to know where he's going. If I didn't put the word balloon here, you see that was actually like one of the manila folders. So it's got like the little thing up here. So that one is kind of the whole idea. Rob was talking about, full page splash pages aren't used much anymore. I definitely use this one here. That one meant a lot to me to do that way. And when I was thinking back, when we were talking about this, I was like, maybe the Kitty Pryde actually kind of, influenced me on that one a little bit. So other things that I've done that I think are kind of cool are the establishing shots. So this is the first page of Sniper and Rook number 2, which is available in the Sniper and Rook collection, now available to you from Silverline Comics. So Sniper and Rook 1 ends definitely on a cliffhanger. And the next thing you know, page 2, you see them walking arm in arm, which is kind of weird. And they're talking and establishing shot. This doesn't necessarily look like standard Russian architecture. Okay, is that supposed to be Big Ben? Don't look like Big Ben. But it actually is Russian architecture. And we even made kind of like poking fun about that, where Jack, he's like my dumb side. He's like, I thought everything had spires and towers and stuff. And she's like, standard TV, try reading. He's like, hey, I do that like every week, like usually on Wednesdays, unless there's holiday. Not a release schedule, right? And then boom, out here we got a Russian agent, So establishing where we are is kind of a good use without saying, here we are in this town, and we kind of get to have a little bit more characterization here, establishing them more as people, as well as the location. And so now we know that this issue starts off in the Soviet Union.
Right.
Cool?
Right. Very cool.
So I got just a couple more because I don't want to take the whole show. Yes, I do.
Sure you do. Come on. Don't be shy.
Okay. You know what I'm going to do? Okay, let's go with this. I told you every issue should end on a cliffhanger, right?
Right.
Take a look at this one.
Okay.
This is the last page of Sniper and Rook number 2.
Okay. Typical airport scene.
In an airplane and in an airport with Interpol agents with weapons drawn surrounding them. You're going to want to find out what's to be continued, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's no question about that. And I'm going to see if I can just switch windows with cloud closing out. Let's see if that works. Let me know if it does. Do you guys see a different page now?
Nope.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing that one. And then I'll go and share the other one. The page immediately preceding that set up why these agents were or what was going on. And if you take a look, can you see the page?
Yes.
There's a whole lot of little panels here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And so if we're going to the with, okay, Heathrow Airport. Now we know what airport we're in. Your flight leaves. He's going to the vending machine. She's going to sit here and look pretty. There she is sitting and looking pretty. Damn, Euro money worse than a Susan B. Late breaking news from Soviet Union. Soviet premier's been assassinated. Oh, who does that look like? It looks like that young lady. And she's like, Jack, get over here now. Assassins are believed to have fled the Soviet Union en route to the U.S. She's like, this is very not good. The guns are drawn, and that brought us to the cliffhanger page.
Nice.
Pretty cool, right?
Yeah, that works.
And a lot of little panels. So what I did, that was the end of issue 2. And the first time I ever did this trick for issue 3, what I actually did was go back and I hate how Marvel has those pages now. Previously on Spider-Man, it's like, don't tell me, show me. I want to see. I don't want to hear. So here, the next thing you're going to see, this is going to be the first page of Sniper and Urk number 3. And you see it's kind of fewer panels.
Okay.
But as we're doing the with, she's like, I wonder what's taking Jack so long. He should be back from the vending machine by now. Issue 2, he had said he was going there. So now we've rewound a minute or two to catch up. He's like, damn, Euro money worse than a Susan B. We have the stuff about the assassination. Here's something that I didn't have room for before. And, her little exposition here, now saying that's a forgery. So now we're getting a little bit more context, okay? Because I had more room in the page, and it's stuff I wanted to put in a third. So we get a little bit more info here, and then she's like, Jack, get over here now, which is where we were in issue 2. He's like, but my Twinkies, because he wants junk food.
Sure.
Then takes it into the follow-up page where it turns into the new version. Let's see, that's 59. I need 60. Page 60. Page 60. There we go. And so he's like, what's wrong? I can hear you across the airport, and doing the newscast. And then they get surrounded from a different point of view. So, rewind it a couple minutes, add to it. So anybody who already read issue 1 and issue 2, they're getting a little bit more of the background as to what's going on. Right.
Okay, so what it feels like what you're saying in that take is it's almost like footage that was originally cut from the scene, and then you're showing it again. Like it's something in comics that we can do where you can do the same scene from slightly different points of view, and it gives the reader an enriched version of the story. Because, a lazy artist like me would just go, hey, man, just print some panels from that previous thing. Just show them what happened before. But, again, this is more enriching to the world because you're seeing it from a slightly new angle. You're maybe adding some dialogue, adding a shot or two that wasn't in the original sequence. So it's really cool.
You don't have to pay to fly anybody in to do reshoots. It's a comic.
Right. Yeah, I know, right?
I got 2 more, and then I will shut up. Because I do want to give this one is from issue 8.
Okay.
And let me know when you can see it.
Yeah.
This is available in the Sniper collection number 2, available from Silverline Comics now. Do you have establishing shot? Okay, where are we?
Yeah.
Embassy, Tokyo, Japan. We know the time, right? What's this dude look like? A ninja. What's he doing? He's ninja-ing. So,
it's a verb now.
Okay?
Actively ninjaing.
Although there's one word that's every part of speech, but Roland won't let me use it on camera.
Okay, that's all right.
So the ninja's breaking in. The only words I'm using here are about security systems, engaged, disengaged, where we are, the time. Everything else is silent because ninja should be silent for maybe a little click. And we see 2 minutes later, boom, he's in. and just again establishing it's the embassy. So this one was my attempt to go ahead and do a page that compels you to read more because you're really not reading anything. It's like, okay, where's this leading? If any influence on that, the amazing, fantastic, wonderful G.I. Joe issue 21, the silent issue, Snake Eye Storm Shadow. I've never done a silent issue. I probably never will because I don't draw. Larry Hama did his own layouts for that, which I'm not good enough to do. And I do want to share this one because Dean, oh man, you tripped over something. I'm like, please don't go too far on that one. But because I know I begged and pleaded and thanked, and I will thank again tonight everybody who helped us on the Kickstarter, and the Rejects. This is a sneak peek, first page of Sniper and Rook Area 50. Whoa! Number 1. All right.
Wow.
So
like it.
This is artwork by Gene Kelly, colors by our own Jeremy Kahn, words writing me. So we have an establishing shot, Adler Planetarium, Chicago, Illinois, and the exhibit we're looking for is right around the corner. Ooh, we're dealing with Sniper and Rook spies, right?
Mm-hmm. I like it.
Now I've seen people go off, not script, off what's it called, Dean? Like when you draw characters and it's like
off script,
not script. It's like
off model.
Off model. Thank you. Okay.
Off model.
Does this look anywhere near Sniper and Rook to you?
No.
No. So we got a Sniper and Rook book. We're like, wait, who's this dude in a janitorial looking jumpsuit? And who's this pretty girl like in a skirt? And wait, who's Todd? Who's Todd? I mean, what the heck? So when you had said sometimes you'll have a page 1 and a 2 that are kind of like a fake out, that is our Area 50 wall. So Todd and his lovely date, girl he's had a crush on since 3rd grade. Oh my God, first date with her, he's thrilled. The first 2 pages are dedicated to their date, and because they're zooming in on a picture of Saturn looking through the telescope at the planetarium, that brings us to page 3 where Sniper and Rook appear, where their general is cluing them in on something extraterrestrial that is currently coming to us passing Saturn. So it was kind of that page 1-2 fake out that you would talk about, and 2 characters that have never been in the series.
You pulled a Law and Order.
What they are, but it's set. What was that?
He pulled a Law and Order.
But it sets the stage for what else is going on. So those were some of that I've done that I wanted to share, and I thought it was kind of nice to, after everybody said pretty much all of these, to be able to show how some of these things have been used in different ways in different Silverline books.
Yeah, no. It's good to share it directly like that, and really we can talk about it as we're looking at it. And I like all the multiple approaches you had there.
You can't just do one thing over and over again,
Yeah.
And if you have 12 issues in a series, you start with the splash page every time. It's like, another splash page.
Yeah. Another splash page, Yeah. Well, and it helps too that you've written a lot of different things and you've read so many comics, so you're immersed in the genre, so you're aware of a lot of the rules and how to break them.
Yes.
Yep. That helps too.
And of course, we all know Professor Xavier's a jerk. So.
Oh, well, yeah. There's always. Oh, yeah. We know that's true. So,
I love that comic.
Do you really?
I think it's in my collection. Yeah, that's a good opener.
I love that page ever since I first saw it.
Is that actually called? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because you know how that looked like? That looked like Byrne.
It wasn't Byrne. It was
I was
Paul
thinking
Smith.
It was Paul
Smith.
Davis, maybe?
Paul Smith. Okay.
Paul Smith. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I can see that. Was Claremont writing it?
Uh-huh.
I think he still was at this point, yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I'm 99% sure.
So you know what I mean by the Law and Order opening, don't you?
No, help us out.
Okay.
Dun, dun.
If you watch most episodes of Law and Order, especially the original one, what you start out with is regular people walking down the street or going somewhere, going into their apartment or whatever, and they're talking about something completely unrelated to what's going to happen in the episode. Their people are griping at each other or something else is going on. They're in a park. But anyway, they stumble across the dead body and they go, "Oh my God!" And then they cut to the opening, and then you come back, and the detectives are there examining the body. So that's what I mean by a Law and Order opening. Is that you've taken something somebody else's life has walked into the middle of this murder, and you see a slice of that life before the story starts. That's what I mean by a Law and Order opening.
Oh, that's good.
That's exactly it.
I like that.
Are looking at a planet, and then Sniper and Nurk are looking at the same planet from a higher def image because of the government.
Yeah. Yep. Great opening.
And what about Rob, that approach where you're doing a follow-up issue, and instead of just letting the writer carry the weight by saying previously in, you actually have to redraw the last few pages of the previous comic. Have you ever been asked to do that? I'm
trying to think. I don't think I have.
Okay.
Hey Rob, you want to do a book together? I got.
I'm booked for a while, man.
I'm trying to redraw something.
I gotta ink all these Romans, man. I gotta.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
I got Romans, man. I got Romans to ink.
I got Romans to ink. So, but no, I don't think I. And if I actually have. We've done that. We've done recaps, but it's usually done in the dialogue. I mean, I have people doing things, but they're talking about what's happened before. Mm-hmm. I haven't had to redraw something, but if I did, I would probably cheat and draw. If there's any new elements, draw the new elements. But I might try to reuse the panels from previously. I might throw them on the light board and do a new version of it, but it would be essentially the same thing. I might blow it up or shrink it down, but I wouldn't necessarily try to redraw the whole thing unless there was a new element that had to be that you were trying to throw into the story. That'd be the only time I completely redraw it. I'm lazy. I'm an old-fashioned illustrator. I'm Wally Wood. If you can swipe it, you swipe it. If you don't reinvent the wheel.
If you don't have to, use the most convenient way and the most efficient way to solve the problem.
Right, because you got to move on. You got to move on to the next page.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the day when you had to meet a deadline, you definitely did it that way.
Absolutely.
You were trying to crank the pages out while still maintaining the level of.
Sorry, Rob, not laughing at you.
Sorry, Rob.
No, I know what you're laughing at.
Xavier I heard this and simply took a sip out of his best feature ever mug. Oh, I love it.
Thanks.
I think that's right.
Isn't that great?
That's right.
Yeah, that's fantastic. You gotta have, humor. That brings me to this too. Adding humor to the scene also brings you in, or in my case, I was going to bring up page 1 of the Silverline Christmas special piece I did, introducing the characters of Silverblade. John, you've been kind enough to offer to share.
Like the visual now, sir?
Please, yes. That page 1 was challenging because I had to be able to make room for the banner at the top. We can zoom in.
Let me know when you want me to zoom.
Go to the top area. So, we had to have room at the top. And then as we scroll down, again, I'm setting the scene, but I wanted you to know time, place, right? And some of it is in the I guess you'd call it narrative, the narration, and also in the conversation. But again, snowy night, Christmas Eve, and as we scroll down a bit more, you can see I wanted the splash panel to give us the situation there. It's Christmas Eve. Obviously, this poor woman in a modest home, and she's got a sick child there. But you see all the visual cues that I had in the piece with, a little Christmas tree in the background, and she's holding a teddy bear, which is Bea, by the way, from the Silverline continuity. I thought I'd throw that in there. And then, of course, ending on sort of a cliffhanger where our main character, Elizabeth Dane, leans down to the sick child to test to see, how bad her fever is. And so hopefully the drama of that brings you in a little bit. And so instead of using humor in that case, using drama and atmosphere to bring it in. And again, that was a really challenging puzzle to solve because we only had 6 pages in the Christmas special to get everything out there that we could to give people almost just a brief preview of what our series was about. Thanks, John. I appreciate that.
Not
appreciate
a problem.
You bringing that up for me. But that was a challenge we had there, and that tells you just you've got so many things you want to cover with that first page. But if your page count is even limited, you've even got to put more into that first page than usual because you don't have a lot of time. So that brings us to before I move on to our pop culture discussion, which I know is gonna take up the rest of the show. Did anybody else want to share a memorable, never going to forget this page 1 from a comic book? Anybody have either a reference? You don't have to have the visual with you, but just in your head. If not, we can maybe come back to that at the end of the show. So since no one's jumping in, I'm going to move on, and we're going to go to the pop culture segment, which is going to be one of my favorites in recent memory.
We're going to get a bumper for that. Pop-up video.
Yes, we do.
Did you just say pop-up video? Oh my God, I love you.
Yeah.
Pop-up video.
Pop-up. We're going to talk about deep fake actors. And for those 5 people who don't know what that is, a deep fake actor is an actor who has aged out of the role, but who has been added back into the role with a body double who is younger and can do the action or the movement from a young person's approach. And then a CG expert adds a de-aged face of said actor onto the younger double, and it comes off beautifully. Now, this was done earlier on in Ant-Man with Michael Douglas.
Right.
He looked like he just stepped right out of Falling Down, which is one of my favorite movies.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's going to be me one of these days.
Yep. And actually, it already is you, right, John? I mean, we can.
I'm about a week and a half away of that.
There you go. You're about to break.
Make sure all the books are out for you guys.
Sure. We'll just follow you live, and it'll just be, we'll break all records. Yeah, it'll be fantastic. But so that was one of the first ones that came to my mind, although I guess it was also in Tron Legacy with Jeff Bridges. They tried it.
And so bad.
Oh, it was primitive.
It was so bad. It was creepy.
Yeah, it was primitive back then. Yeah. So not as good. But as we've advanced in technology, the deepfake actor effect has gotten more convincing. The most convincing that I've seen is in Book of Boba Fett, episode 6, where we see 35-year-old or so Luke Skywalker training Grogu, also known as Baby Yoda. And the effect was almost perfect. And I say, I in my estimation, they're about 90 to 95% there, because you could still see a little bit of the digital oddities there, but they could be explained away because the character is a warrior monk at this stage. He's reached this stage of inner peace and calm, and doesn't really have to emote as much with facial expressions, so on and so forth. So to me, that's state of the art so far. But what I wanted to bring up for open discussion here is, quite frankly, I've seen the previews to the new Batman, and I'm not impressed. And I'm a Batman fan from way back. And guys, I'm sorry, Robert Pattinson. I'm not there with you on Bruce Wayne. You just look like you belong in an Edward Scissorhands movie. Sorry. So that being said, I was going to throw it out there for all you folks that like Michael Keaton. He's going to be appearing in the new Flash movie that comes out in the fall as an aging Batman. First of all, if you guys knew that they were going to take Keaton, de-age him, and do a Batman movie with Keaton as Batman, would you be up for that, or would you not be up for that? I'm going to start. I'm going to start with our superior skeptic, because I know he's going to have a fantastic take on this.
I could,
because you don't care.
I honestly, I know the first Batman movie was okay. I mean, I liked Michael Keaton.
Sure.
He didn't move a lot because he couldn't in that suit.
Right.
Right. It was.
There was a lot of this. A lot of this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like Michael Keaton more in like Gung Ho, Mr. Mom. I grew up more comedic, so I could take a leap. I personally don't see. I mean, bringing back old actors to play these roles, I think, is just a cash grab. I don't think it really serves anything.
The nostalgia vibe.
It's I mean, let's bring back a bunch of older guys and put him in the suit again. I actually, in a way, feel sorry for Michael Keaton if he has to put that suit on at his age. I do, because I know he hated it. All the Batman people hate wearing that suit. Val Kilmer has come out and said how much he just absolutely hated it and detested it.
Sure.
So the fact that they have, I mean, that's when I thought when Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man died, I'm like, he's out of his contract. Now I guess he'll go make other stuff. I think of them. I personally don't care if I see Michael Keaton as Batman in a movie again. I could just go watch the old one.
Okay.
It doesn't do anything.
All right. What about you, Scott? Talk to me, man.
I feel the same way.
Would you see a Keaton Batman movie, or you're like, move on, forget it?
Let's move on with our lives here and not dredge up an old character. And also, I feel like it's making a movie, but with extra steps. Like just get another actor and make a good movie. Make a good movie without having to rely on. Without having to rely on
extra steps.
Well, people loved him back in the 90s. They're gonna love him now. Just make a movie and
make a good movie. Yeah.
And I feel like for me at least, it's too many things that make you suspend disbelief even more. Even when you're like, okay, wait, is that Michael Keaton? Is that somebody else being Michael Keaton's body with Michael Keaton's face? How much is he just? And then I start to think about it. So did Michael Keaton just stay in the studio and make faces and stuff, and then they deep fake youngified him and put him on another?
Image is funny.
Make a good movie and
tell a good story.
Yeah.
What did let me ask you this: Did the Luke Skywalker thing bother you, or because it served the story? Was that cool? That was cool for you.
I only saw it. I didn't see the Boba Fett one. I've only seen him in the Mandalorian scene. It's not quite right. It's
Book of Boba Fett.
What's that?
You mean the Cliffhanger?
The Mandalorian.
Gotcha.
Okay. It's cool. It's still not quite there. It still has that.
Agreed.
It's like it's almost, and so like Carrie Fisher and the whole Oliver in the Star Wars, and then you got Henry Cavill's mouth in Batman, Superman, or whichever one. Justice League.
Tron Legacy quality.
It was
Tron Legacy. It was Tron Legacy.
Yeah, and still their faces still. It's the Polar Express dead. Special effect face that is
and
I feel about it.
And then and the whole world
Sky Captain,
Sky Captain,
in the CG world, you can spot it. You're like, okay, those are real animals. Those are CG animals. That's a real Legolas. That's Legolas, computer animated Legolas.
Yes,
because they're never quite right, and they'll get there, and it's fine.
Yeah, they'll get there. Yes,
Like a lot of times, it's just. That far off.
It's just that far off. Rob, what about you, Rob?
What I would like to see is Bogart brought back.
Okay.
For a new story. Think about it.
I could see that.
Bring back Humphrey Bogart. I could see somebody doing something with that, or just Burt Lancaster. I would be interested in seeing them and brought back CGI and do them in black and white even.
That would help with the special effects. Add a grainy 1930s film effects.
I could see them doing something like that for fun.
That
makes as much sense as Sky Captain and whatever that was.
But the thing I'm saying about that feeling of like something's not quite right, or there's
a
too
word for that.
Too many steps. No, it's like sometimes you know when that actor's there, there's heart. Like right, you feel it. Like you feel like Humphrey Bogart. Those good actors, they've got that screen presence, and you know that they're a real person, and you can put those things together. That actor, and whether he's in a suit or he's playing somebody. There's heart there, so it'd be cool, Rob. But I feel like, but is it really him? It's his soul is.
Well, that's part of it. At that point, I think by the time that's workable, most people will have only seen, won't know that much about Bogart. True, because and I think it'll be easier for them to get away with it. But I think that the types of characters that only he could play and play effectively could be interestingly brought back. Maybe not as the lead, but as like a background character or a secondary character. I'm not talking about making them the lead, but making them some kind of background character to add some depth to the story.
Interesting.
They're not at that point yet. They're not at the point where they can pull that off yet.
No.
So I think there is that dead eyes thing. They still haven't mastered how to do the
life.
People looking. There's no soul.
Right.
You don't get any soul. That's what bothered me the most about the Sky Captain movie was, if they'd had a really, really good story, but it was all pulp memes. It was stuff, just pull this from here, and giant robots walking
ray gun
the street. And I'm going, whoopee, tell it in a new way, or but do something a little more exciting than that. But
I saw that as a demo reel, Rob. That was a 3D demo reel.
They were trying to pass it off as a movie, as a full-fledged film, and I'm going, nah. This is demonstration of technique. That's all.
It was a portfolio for a half a dozen 3D artists trying to get work with Lucasfilm. It's pretty much.
Or make an in game or whatever.
Yeah, right. Rory, what about you, my friend?
The Luke Skywalker, I thought that was pretty good. Like you keep saying, we're almost there. We're almost there. I wouldn't want to see like a Michael Keaton movie, magnified and all that. And I think that oddness that you experience when you see this, there's a word for it. It's called the Uncanny Valley.
Indeed. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. It's that discomfort, that uneasiness of wanting to believe that it's real, but your eyes are telling you no, it's just not. That's
and the closer it gets to being real, the more it's disturbing. So you goes from cartoon to being okay, whatever. They're two-dimensional faces, and they talk about over here to being real, and it's not quite right. And
I think that'll always be there.
I think so too.
It might be.
We welcome you to the group here. I guess you've picked up what we're talking about here. AI, deep fake actors. Do they work? Do they not work? When they do, when they don't. And then I threw out just a fun question to everybody. I'm not particularly thrilled at the preview to the new Batman, and I thought, I bet people would rather see a CG Michael Keaton crafted a la Luke Skywalker in the suit than Robert Pattinson. Nothing against Robert, but he just doesn't say Bruce Wayne to me. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, they said the exact same thing about Michael Keaton when the Batman.
They did. They did.
Everyone went bananas when they heard Jack Nicholson was going to be the Joker, but they were. I mean, they didn't have the internet back then. So what did they do? Write letters to Warner Brothers? I don't know.
Yeah.
Strongly worded opinions.
All wrong for Bruce Wayne.
So, yeah. I mean, he pulled it off.
I from the beginning thought he would be able to pull it off.
Did you?
Myself, yeah, I thought he would. When they announced him, I said, "Well, that's interesting. I want to see what he does." I had, I didn't have this. Oh, he's a comedic actor only. Bullshit. Excuse my language. BS. An actor's an actor. And he's since proved that. He's played evil guys. He's played Good Guys. He's played Mr. Mom.
And see, actually, I'm so glad you said Mr. Mom, because that's what a lot of other people were saying. Mr. Mom can't be Batman. It wasn't just a comedic actor. Most of the comments were tied specifically to that role.
Yeah.
You know,
and
that just
arguably, guys, I still think his performance of Bruce Wayne stands really apart from many of the other actors who've played Bruce Wayne. He did a fantastic job. I didn't expect him to, but he did.
Probably my number 2 on
that. Okay.
But that really begs
the was good.
Great.
Question is there a really good performance of Bruce Wayne that truly matters? I mean, he is basically white guy number 7 sitting there doing this kind of, if it's Michael Keaton, he's doing this a lot. Or if he's Val Kilmer, he just stands there, haircut and everything. And then he jumps in the suit and everyone's like, ooh. But until then, he just stands around being rich. Like the most compelling Bruce.
I want to stand around being rich.
I wish I had his problems. But I remember watching Batman Mask of the Phantasm. And remember when Bruce Wayne's at his parents' crypt going, I need things to be different now. I'm like, holy cow, Bruce Wayne is interesting. It was the first time I'd ever seen a visual representation of Bruce Wayne as an interesting character.
Well, that's a good point. And I was with you up until when I rewatched Keaton's Batman. There's a scene where he's talking to the reporter and he's in that huge armory where he's collected all this armor. And, you know, the reporter's bantering back and forth. They're almost doing a 1950s banter version of the dialogue, you know, and the reporters, Knox says, you know, hey, can I have a grant? And he's not answered right away, and they go on with the dialogue. And, you know, Keaton's playing the character, absorbing everything going on around him, and he's got this almost distracted genius thing, and that's what I was watching. And then right as the scene ends, he turns to the butler and he says, Get Knox a grant.
Yeah.
Right? So that put it all together for me, you know, and I was going, okay, this guy gets it. He's playing him not as white guy number 7. He's playing him as the brilliant, just obsessed with gathering information, processing it, and then executing whatever he has to execute with it. And that was the first time I'd seen it done, because the previous actors, including in the 60s, you know, comedy series, they played him sort of very bland and sort of generic. And like you didn't pay attention to him until he was in the suit. But I paid attention to Keaton's distracted genius. And that's what impressed me with him. Now, John, I'm gonna let you word bomb all over this. So
all right, because I got a few things here. So since you guys have gone to Batman, one of the things that was kind of nice, and one of the couple of reasons I would like to see more deepfake stuff, you know, if it's done well, is if it is to continue a story. You know, say that, and I'm not saying they should do this, but Andrew Garfield got screwed out of his 3rd movie because the first 2 were written so poorly. He had been my favorite Spider-Man up to that point, except for Nicholas Hammond, because Hammond in the 70s was the bomb, you know. I was really hoping he'd be in the new movie. But, you know, if they wanted to do something to show how he got dark after Gwen's death and then where he is now, I could see something like that. I would like that. So I see some good use for that, like maybe half the film and then bring it to present day. Talking about Batman, they had put out as part of the DC animated line of movies, like the Batman 66 animated, that was voiced, and they had 2 of them, voiced by Burt Ward and
Adam West.
Thank you. It's been a long day.
And Alan Napier.
So at least we got the voices to
I think
go
he was
along
dead
with
by then.
Oh yeah, well he wasn't when he did.
Adam
We recorded him when he was alive. It's difficult otherwise. But you know, so it was nice, and I wouldn't have mind seeing those in some sort of deep fake way to see that dynamic duo I grew up again or with one more time. That brings me to my next point. I'm writing them all down here on the back of a check.
Very nice.
You know, so that
very thorough.
That brings us to the rule of 30. Okay, and everybody in here probably knows about the rule of 30 on some level. shit matters again. Thanks, Rob, for okaying the word. It matters again in 30 years. Okay, so Star Wars 77. People grew up. People stopped collecting the toys. They got rid of their stuff. Mom sold at a garage sale, except for mine, because I never part with anything, and that's why I'm a hoarder. Okay, but in 30 years, when people are in jobs and they have money and they want to, get that youth back, that's when they have the money to spend disposable income and they go back and buy their childhood back again. Tell me that in 10 years, when technology is good, that there wouldn't be a whole generation of people, men and women at that age, that would not go nuts for a real Power Ranger, Mighty Morphin reunion movie that looked like the original 5. Okay,
I was thinking that too.
Because you got to have the Green Ranger. I mean, that's like an example. So,
Okay.
Be a cash grab, like somebody said. But it also could be a way to go back to like the old days, which is kind of cool. Couple more things. When you, I agree, Luke looked great in the Book of Boba Fett, but I want to see it on the big screen. I've got a 60-inch TV that I saw it on, but I want to see it in a theater. Because I want to compare it to how we had Tarkin and Leia in Rogue One.
Yeah.
And so I have to go there. So I mentioned Leia in terms of after Carrie Fisher passed away, and she was not in episode 9. But at the end of Rogue One, when we saw a de-aged Carrie Fisher, supposed to be young Leia, right before a New Hope, that didn't translate well.
Right.
The animation wasn't, the facial animation, CGI wasn't that good, but Tarkin was better. Although you could tell Grand Moff Tarkin was CGI at that point. I was in the theater, and it took me out of it a little bit the first time I saw it, but the other 22 times I saw it in the theater, I was fine. And I'm not. My son and I have to prove it.
Let me ask you something. I'm gonna spin off what you'd set up there. Yeah. I actually think that the big screen would make the Book of Boba Fett Luke look better, and I'll tell you why. Because on the screen, you're seeing reflected light. On your big screen TV, you're actually seeing high-resolution images. You're not seeing a bounce back off a projector. Yeah. So that more
digital projector, you're absolutely
right. Yes, that more primitive visual would hide even more of the flaws, and I think it would even look more impressive on the big screen. That's
what I would love to see. I want to see that comparison, so I can do apples to apples. And, and I remember leaving Rogue One the first time I saw it, having cursed Lucas for what he did to the Holy Trilogy with his special editions.
Sure.
But I thought to myself, this movie, I would love to see Lucasfilm tweak the CGI every 5 years just to tighten it up with a new technology and a better looking, Peter Cushing, a better looking Leia. Because that would take away.
Peter Cushing's a handsome man.
So I have that. And then, the one that you said, closer that you get to reality, that brought me to my thing about the Book of Boba Fett, about like bringing it closer with the big screen with Luke.
Sure.
The last one I'll leave it on. Now I will give a downside because I am like, a Force user and I believe in balance. Okay.
Sure.
It's into my religion here. Here's the downside.
Okay.
Fake and why it should be stopped forever and never allowed to be done again.
Okay.
Because deep fake technology allows for new Nicolas Cage movies to be created forever.
Oh man!
And we want it. We want it so bad. Yes.
So
they can take his face.
Humanity off. Cannot stand for it.
Take his face off. It worked, right? It was too easy. It was too easy. Yeah.
So you guys don't like Nicolas Cage?
I hate Nick Cage, and that was a running joke for like a long time on Wednesday.
Oh my god!
Where Tommy, because Tommy and I always bantered back and forth for Christmas for Tommy. I sent him a box of Nick Cage movies.
Oh, you're so mean.
Envelopes, and they were
nice.
It was one for every month, 12 months of the year, and it tied to something going on. So, like Snake Eyes, I digitally put on like Snake Eyes from G.I. Joe, his head on the cover, And that was open the month when Snake Eyes movie came out. The Nick Cage movie, The Runner, I put that, open it on this date. It was National Running Date.
Wow.
National
Oh, wow.
That's
thought this through, man.
I totally went out. It was like 12.
You have too much time on your hands.
Oh, actually, that's why he got it in March. Together. But yeah, so yeah, no, I despise Nick Cage. So
have you guys?
I was trying to solicit, people for Sniper and Rook movie before. So Nick Cage, if you're watching,
we love
I got no place for you.
Oh man!
Have you guys seen the trailer for his new movie?
You could be a porter.
He's got a new movie.
He's got a new movie coming out. It looks awesome. Pedro Pascal is in it.
Who?
Really?
Oh wow!
Mandalorian is in it.
John doesn't get it halfway.
Cage plays himself.
Amy knows you will.
Go to Pedro Pascal's birthday party and shenanigans happen. So.
Ah, indeed. Well, I'm going to throw one last question out before we close out. If they could do the original Star Trek cast AI, would you watch it, John? Go.
I would watch it, but I would prefer to see the actors and actresses from the Kelvin timeline.
Okay. Anybody else who's a Star Trek fan, chime in quickly.
I would not.
No.
I would.
No.
And I would not shut up about not watching it.
Okay. you would do the pitchfork and everything.
The sandwich board. Turn back.
We're not going to protest. We're not.
The end is nigh. The end is nigh.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yes.
Oh my gosh. Look at this. Look at Tommy.
Do that trick again?
Christmas year-long present. Oh,
he wants a year-long present. So knowing that John's not going to do anything halfway, Tommy, you might just get what you asked for. And that could be really scary. But I know what I'm going to ask for here, and that's what do we say, folks, when we're about to close our show? Because we all say something.
Sorry.
And we say, no, that's what we say.
I apologize.
Sometimes we say that.
But
sometimes we say, make mine. Silverline. I know. Oh, you guys are great. We appreciate you coming out tonight to be on the show. And I'm doing closing credit.
I'm Alex Saviuk, and I just want to let you know, make mine Silverline.